Hi, all of you people out there in Facebook world. This is Erica Elliott with Biz Books Expert, and at this time of year, as we know, it's tax filing season, and there's lots of fears and concerns when it comes to taxes. But I have to say, I live only about an hour and a half north of where the last high school shootings took place down here in South Florida. So even though taxation is a difficult and sometimes very scary thing, there's many more greater horrors, unfortunately, in our world today. I practice at a local yoga school called West Palm Beach Bikram Yoga, and one of the days I was here this past week, there was a young man that comes there who is afraid to go to school every day and is afraid of his life down in the Boynton Beach area because of the gang violence that does exist in schools. So there are much greater things, and all of us need to come together as a community and communities to figure out how to love and support our youth and to help them grow into a life and adults that we've gotten to experience, and some of them unfortunately have not. So that's the more important thing. Today I was filing some taxes to come back to the topic on hand. And there's a few situations that have been occurring with people. Again, South Florida, this is a very big hotbed for this, is identities get stolen. A big classification of identities that have gotten stolen and erroneous tax refunds have been filed on their social security numbers is this same group of young people. People with a social security number that are in high school, they're in college, and they haven't necessarily filed their first 1040 yet. If they haven't had a W-2 or a 1099 issued to them for wages earned, they wouldn't have a tax return filing requirement. So a few years ago, there was a huge scam that took effect and it was actually an inside person in the administration of the University of Central Florida that was selling social security numbers off of applications to UCF to a fraudulent ring, who was then using the social security numbers of these victims to file and get millions and millions of dollars of erroneous tax refunds. So these were kids that had never filed a return. And I know a few of them down here in the area where they put an application into UCF. They didn't necessarily go there. They might have gone to another college. And then 2 or 3 years later, they start filing their 1040 and they're like, oh, no. You've already filed your tax return in the last 4 years. So it took the parents and the youth hundreds and hundreds of hours of their own personal time to get it fixed. So the correct refund that was rightfully theirs, that they had actually paid in themselves, they couldn't get their hands on because they had to clear up the fact that someone else had filed fake numbers using their social security number. So there's many things that the IRS should and could be doing, and at the direction of Congress, which have not occurred to clean that situation up. But in the meantime, what can you do to stop this fraud occurring to you or your college kids? And what I've suggested and seems to work is I file a 1040, even if it's not required, for each youth, for my own family and for my clients. And that way, it at least triggers an event that you're putting a tax return on record, even if it's not required to be filed. And one way to do this, each parent usually gives their child some kind of an allowance, and you could file a Schedule C with some self-employment income for their technology consulting that they do for your family. Fixing the remote, fixing the cable, fixing your iPhone. They're actually providing you a service, so you can end up, issuing a little 1099, or if it's under $600 a year, reporting some of that allowance as actual compensation. Then they actually have a tax return. They don't owe any taxes if it's only a couple $100s, but you get a return on record. So when you file that return, it gives you the opportunity to force the IRS to tell you if someone has fraudulently used your child's social security number. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to help your child find a job and get a real W-2 from somebody else. But that's difficult to do in certain areas. Even in the fast food industry, we know a lot of retirees are sometimes more reliable. They obviously have more experience. They're not going to school, so they can work during the day. And a lot of those like fast food service type jobs are going to retirees. So it's not so simple to get your kids to have a W-2 as it used to be back in the day. So that's my tax horror story for today, and it's focused on those young individuals. And again, my heart, as well as the whole country, is going out to them. And the really great thing is seeing the youth come together to say no more, and please keep us safe in our schools. So I love that there's a dialogue that's at least coming to fruition here better than it ever has before. So all I can say is namaste. I get it.